Good morning, everyone. Guys, this is a critical warning if you live in the United Kingdom. This is a critical warning now if you live in Europe in general. But I'm going to focus this video on the United Kingdom. But a lot of the points I'm going to talk about are replicated in Europe, as well. So months and months and months ago, guys, I started talking about the threat to the United Kingdom and the threat of sabotage. Now, when we talk about sabotage, we think about somebody coming in with some spanners and, taking some bolts out of some sort of governmental, machinery that then stops something working and they can't produce something. Guys, sabotage, when I'm talking about it, it encompasses a broad spectrum. So, sabotage, you've got obviously the historic traditional sabotage attacks. We've now got cyber warfare. We've got asymmetric warfare. I'm putting criminal attacks in there as well, guys. An up rate in crime incidents, an up rate in theft, an up rate in anything that causes police to divert their attentions, anything that drains capacity from the governmental organizations that are there to protect us. So all that sort of stuff, guys, I'm encompassing under sabotage. If I was to name each and every one of these, then, I would literally be here all day, guys, and all I'd be doing is naming different incidents. But now we move towards this new era of warfare. I'm going to come onto a video in a moment, guys, and a warning from the chief of MI5. Now, I believe we've already entered a higher threat level. Remember, the Russians threatened nuclear war to the They threatened that the UK would be in nuclear war with Russia by Christmas. Straight away, I said, not a chance, not in a million years. That's not going to happen. As I've always said, guys, the threat to the United Kingdom comes from organized crime that are paid for by state actors. It comes from, I'm going to start to put into this, guys, terrorism, because we don't know who's funding these people. We don't know if you follow these chains back far enough. Remember, the Russians and the Iranians are heavily allied. They've got heavy, deep military connections now. So I think it's safe to put these two types of activity in the same category now, guys. And I'm just going to encompass all this now as sabotage. Acts of grey warfare, asymmetric warfare, non-conventional warfare, guerrilla warfare. And I really do think there's got to be a new name for this now, because all those types of warfare would be operations conducted by your own troops. Right now in the United Kingdom, we've got the risk of these people coming from other countries into our country who don't share our values, who don't share our culture, who don't share our way of life. These people could be paid now to do acts of sabotage. Like I said, guys, that covering a large spectrum of things. Acts of sabotage that then fit in with that state-sponsored narrative from Russia, from China, from Iran, from North Korea. Doesn't really matter who now, because we can kind of, the lines in the sand have been drawn, and, we're clearly standing on one side of this. So, guys, I'm just going to skip straight to a video now. I'm going to stop it at various points and give commentary. Or should I go through it? And no, I will stop it at various points because there's quite a few points in here. I think it's this one. Right, so this is the video, guys, but just the headline. MI5 forced to pare back counter-terrorism work due to rogue states, says chief. Ken McCullen, he looks like he's been chosen for his aesthetics for a very particular reason. Ken McCullum says service must make uncomfortable choices as it faces more aggression from Russia, China, and Iran. Guys, listen, I've been saying the same thing I've been saying these same things over and over again. So when I'm telling you guys these things, like when I've been saying this has been coming for months and months and months and months, What I'm saying now that's coming in the future, like global warfare on an industrial scale, Britain will lead the whatever's left of NATO in the east of Ukraine, in the east of Europe. The United States will have a war with Iran. When I'm saying these things now, and the thing, I mean, you can go back and look through my videos. When I'm saying these things when I was saying these things months ago, and they're happening now, you've got the head of is it 6 or 5? The head of MI5 coming out and saying this publicly now. Things that I was saying months ago, guys, just take notice of the things that I'm saying are going to happen in the future. And please, guys, try and share this video with the people who are not taking notice of things that are happening in the world. Right, let's just get on to the video, guys, because there's quite a bit in the video. How do we make that big? Guys, I'm just going to make sure this is, yes, right, hang on. Where are we? There, right.
Clear to you that MI5 has one hell of a job on its hands. The first 20 years of my career here were crammed full of terrorist threats. We now face those alongside state-backed sabotage and assassination plots.
Again, what I've been saying for a long time, guys, this risk of sabotage, it's absolutely huge. Now, I'm encompassing, when I talk about sabotage, if I do videos and I talk about sabotage, I'm actually putting in there, guys, criminal attacks where they identify people, because that's what they'll do. They'll go after people, they'll intimidate people, they'll intimidate. And it's not the people who you're thinking of. They will go for intimidation on, I'm speculating here, a local councillor in a region that has a certain capacity. So a local council that has the trucks that fuel the aircraft that are on early response or something, so they'll target that councillor because that councillor won't have any security on them. They won't have a heightened sense of security. But once you've targeted that councillor, then you have access to those fuel trucks. Those fuel trucks then, which are probably civilian contracted, kept far, far away from the fast jets, those fuel trucks will then, they're the fuel trucks that then fuel the trucks that are on the rapid reaction force or whatever it is with the fast jets that go and intercept the Russian bombers. If those fast jets have got no fuel, guess what? They're not going up and intercepting anything. So you see, guys, this is how the tentacles of this grey warfare, asymmetric warfare, this is how you get these tentacles run deep. And this is what the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians have been planning for years. And we are massively unprepared. So when you get these NATO generals come out and say, the NATO would destroy Russia within 3 days. Stop. The real threat is from sabotage in the United Kingdom. So, guys, sorry, I'll come on to all these points after, but let's just watch the video.
Against the backdrop of a major European land war. We don't balk at the challenge. It's MI5's job. Since the killing of Masa Amini in 2022, we've seen plot after plot here in the UK at an unprecedented pace and scale.
So, plot after plot is being thwarted in the United Kingdom at an unprecedented rate and scale. A lot of these plots, guys, are thwarted by signals intelligence, using computer algorithms to find people's mobile devices, find people's networks. Who do they go on the Wi-Fi router with? Who else goes on that Wi-Fi router? What times are they online? And they build this network. And a lot of this is done by artificial intelligence. Now, the problem comes where we have low-tech solutions for high-tech problems, whereby we have, and I'm not saying this happens, I'm speculating ridiculously, this is how I would do it. If I was a bad guy and I wanted to cause carnage in the United Kingdom, what I would do is, rather than try and recruit or do anything in the United Kingdom, I would just wait in Calais, in France, and I'd say, hey, you guys going over on the boats? Yes, right, okay. I'm going to pay you to go over on the boats. What I want you to do at this time, at this date, I want you to go and smash this water pump up, this electricity substation. That's what I want you to do at this time and this date. If you do that to 10 people and they're all successful, you brought the country to its knees, like with that one strike. There's no online communications. There's no signals network. These guys have got no trace. They're not on any watch list because they've been told word of mouth, and that's how they're going to do it. Another way you could do it is you could give them a temporal marker. You could say, right, okay, you guys, when you see this global event from Iran, or when you see the supreme leader say this, this is what you're going to do. When you see Vladimir Putin come out and make this speech, this is what you're going to do. He's got those international temporal markers then. So he's there, or she, they're there lying in wait. They've got their mission. They've got their plan. They've got their equipment. They're ready. They're just waiting for a Vladimir Putin speech. They're waiting for an international event to happen. It could be when you see Russia use the oceanic missile system, 44 days after that, I want you to do the attacks. So you see how all these things can be orchestrated without any need for signals intelligence, and this is the way we're going, guys. This is how I would do it, and we're really under, it's really going to be a wild times ahead. Let's continue.
Since January 2022, with police partners, we have responded to 20 Iran-backed plots presenting potentially lethal threats to British citizens and UK residents.
So again, guys, I know I keep stopping it, but there is a lot of points that he's just firing bullet point after bullet point here, guys. 20 attacks that they've stopped, 20 Iran-backed attacks. Now, remember, we've got Iran, Russia, North Korea, China, who are all in that area of influence.
As events unfold in the Middle East, we will give our fullest attention to the risk of an increase in or a broadening of Iranian state aggression here in the UK. The GRU in particular is on a... So
the GRU is the Russian intelligence service. It's basically the KGB. So the guys who sent over for the Skripal poisoning, they are GRU.
Sustained mission to generate mayhem on British and European streets. We've seen arson, sabotage, and more.
Guys, remember when I did the video? I did the video when there was arson attacks in the United Kingdom, and I said, listen, I've got no evidence to say that this is sabotage, but to me, if I was speculating, I would say this is sabotage. I've been saying this is coming for months and months and months. You've literally got it there, guys. The head of MI5 confirming things that I was saying months and months and months ago, because I'm seeing this threat coming, guys. I can see what's coming. So when I'm telling you things now that are happening in the future, please, guys, just pay attention and make sure you share this video to those people who are not paying attention. I'll talk more about that after.
Dangerous actions conducted with increasing recklessness and having precisely the opposite effect of what the Russian state intends, in driving increased operational coordination with partners across Europe and beyond. I'll finish here with the terrorist trend that concerns me most: the worsening threat from Al-Qaeda, and in particular from Islamic State. Today's Islamic State is not the force it was a decade ago, but after a few years of being pinned well back, they've resumed efforts to export terrorism. The ISKP attack in Moscow was a brutal demonstration of its capability.
Yeah, guys, so what he's talking about there is the attack. I think they're calling it Islamic State, the attack in Moscow when they attacked I think it was a cinema or a theater. This is the future, guys. This really is the future. Why is Vladimir Putin going to send nuclear missiles over to the United Kingdom when he's going to get nuclear missiles back straight away? Literally, you can see where these missiles are coming from. If they're coming from Russian bases or perceived, Russian threat, then the United Kingdom will respond in force. We've got our own deterrent. The real threat comes from these attacks, like the attack in Moscow when I think there was four attackers. And it was just carnage, guys. The carnage that they caused, 4 people. And as I understand it, they got paid $5,000 each, like for $20,000. And again, it's brutal thinking this way, but when you're looking at your cost looking at your use case and your cost benefit reward, of that financing, of course, like how much do those long range interballistic missiles cost? I'm going to suspect you can't even buy a sensor for the targeting system for less than 20 grand. And here you've got a system where you can have, an attack on your enemy's soil less than 20 grand, and it's catastrophic. It does the job. Now, please share these videos, guys, with the people who are not paying attention on the news. I did a video earlier on this morning about the storm and how people are reacting in the storm. How people, and I think that's a good thumbnail, actually. A storm's coming. A storm is coming. So look at the psychology of how people are reacting in this storm. They're getting this urgent alert on their phone. We did a live stream. We were talking yesterday. We were talking to people who were, in this vicinity, in this region, and they were saying that Costco, they're queuing out the door. Shelves are getting stripped dry. And this is only with one weather warning for 20, realistically, 24, 48 hours, most storms are gone. 3 days, you don't usually get a storm lasting longer than 3 days because, the worst ones are gone quickest. Now, look how people are reacting, guys. And this is the problem, because people are not paying attention to the news. They're not watching my videos, and they're thinking, oh, yeah, Sean, you were saying things that are happening. You were saying things 6 months ago and they're happening now. So, but what you're saying in 6 months' time, that's too far-fetched. Guys, we are heading towards a global conflict of an industrial scale. And not many people don't realize because the media is not telling them to. Now we've got the head of MI5 coming out and saying things that I was saying 6 months ago. People are starting to pay attention. But the real threat, guys, to the United Kingdom, it is not from these long-range missiles. It's from sabotage. It's from acts of sabotage. Now, he was saying in his video that ISIS, I don't want to, there's so many of these different groups, guys. They seem to have a new name every couple of years. It's the same people. They'll probably be getting their funding from the same people. It's just like a little rebranding for them, a little change of your t-shirt. These are the real threats, and the real threats, guys, like I keep saying, it's changed. The game really has changed. When I was serving, when I was in the military, we didn't have the problem. And when you're in the military, you backfill the police for certain tasks. We didn't have the problem. And guys, it's a massive problem, and it's a massive elephant in the room, and nobody seems to be talking about it. The problem of we have people now coming to our country in masses that don't share our values, don't share our culture, don't subscribe to being British, don't identify as British. It's wild how people and again, each to their own. If that's the way we go as a civilization, that's fine. But, we've got people like in London saying, oh, I'm ashamed to live in Britain. I'm thinking like, okay, you're ashamed to live in Britain? Like, okay, like, I mean, there's a simple solution in my head, but like, it's mad. It's absolutely insane. But anyway, we've got this demographic of people now in our country, whether we like it or not. They're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. And these are the people who could possibly be paid to do acts of sabotage. Now, again, when I say sabotage, I'm encompassing a huge spectrum of capacity. And, if you've not watched it, guys, go and watch my top 10 video where I talk about, the threats, the how to get ready for one of these attacks when they come. I still think the biggest threat, guys, is the water. It's not the one everyone talks about. It's not the one everyone thinks about, but that is why for me it's the biggest threat. Water, guys. You can attack the water system with relatively primitive tools, just by there down over the hill, up the hill, and into the valley. There's like it's probably 18-inch wide. It's a huge water pipe, and it's just there. There's like a little valley, and it just goes across. Everyone knows where it is. I could quite easily go and sit on that water pipe all day and nobody would bat an eyelid. At night time, I could probably get up to it with a still saw and cut it in half, you know, and nobody would, you know, nobody would know. I'm going to suspect that there are little intricacies all over the country like this that would actually destroy the water system. When you attack the water system, you know, you don't have to worry about an electric shock. You don't have to worry about something going kaboom because there's gas in it. You know, it's really easy and it's really devastating. We don't have enough bottled water, guys, you know, for this. Anyway, so, guys, the jux of this video is the threat. The threat to the United Kingdom, guys, has just gone up. The game's changed. The storm's coming. I would even say a storm is literally already here, metaphorically and literally. We're going to see these acts of sabotage increase. Remember, cyber warfare, no private company is ever going to admit they've been victim to a cyber attack. You know, because people are just going to lose faith in that company. They're going to vote with their wallets and that company's going to go bust. Acts of sabotage to our utilities, to our, I mean, I did a video on this like months and months and months ago. I gave top 10, you know, to our infrastructure. Acts of sabotage anywhere in and around military bases, electricity substations, things you can do remotely, the use of drones, all this sort of stuff, guys. The threat is real. And now what we've got to do is we've got to encompass all of these things under the same banner, I think. I'm going to use the phrase sabotage, but that's also going to encompass terror attacks. It's also going to encompass lone attacks, lone wolf attacks, all those attacks, guys, that are there to serve a purpose. It's going to happen, and we're going to see an increase in these attacks. I'm going to do another video, guys, once I've got a little bit more information on the date that we're not there yet. We're quite a while away. There's a specific date I've identified, but I want to get more information on this, and I want to do a more in-depth video on that. I did do I think like a 1 or 2 minute video to our subscribers on our other platform, and I mentioned the date. This is a preliminary date. Nothing may or may not happen, but I'm going to do another video on that later on, guys. We're a fair way distance away from that, guys, so nobody needs to worry. But guys, please share this video with those people who are not watching global events, who are not watching the news, and share this video with them, and then try and share, in fact, share the last one I did with them and say, look, this is how people react in times of emergency. Give them the stormed arrow, the red alert, the danger to life warning. Look how people have gone absolutely crackers. And then can you imagine that in the United Kingdom when there is a real threat, when there is real danger, when we've got marauding gangs, when the GPS has gone down? Remember, we did a video about how I feel that the police right now are training to operate without GPS. It'd be very simple to take out civilian GPS by the Russians, by the Chinese, by the Iranians, state-sponsored acts of aggression to take down our civilian GPS. Can you imagine the devastation, the crime rate if, for example, well, here's another temporal marker for you. Remember how I said about those temporal markers whereby you could have, you're flooding the shores of the United Kingdom with people who know how to do these attacks. They, you know, the first 10 people that come ahead, you know, that come to the United Kingdom, right? That's your team that's going to take out the water system. The next 10 people that come, that you recruit, they're going to take out the electricity stations. The next 100 people, they're just going to commit acts of violent crime. The next 1,000 people, they're going to commit acts of looting, shoplifting. All this sort of stuff it's the stuff that you would do on an industrial scale, guys. Remember, we're heading towards an industrial scale. Now, I talked about temporal markers. I love that phrase. So can you imagine the temporal marker of, you tell all these people, you say, right, guys, when civilian GPS goes down in the United Kingdom, I want everybody to do what I've told you to do all at once in that same week. Everybody needs to go crackers in that same week. Because guess what? When civilian GPS goes down, that means the police are not coming. Because I would speculate heavily that the police operate on GPS right now, civilian GPS. We know it's Google Maps and Waze. So they will not be as rehearsed as using map and compass. Well, you can't use a compass in you can use a compass in a car, but you have to use it differently. So the police won't know how to use maps. They'll be poor at map reading because they will be reliant on GPS. They'll be reliant on satellite navigation, which is just how technology drives us. So the police reaction times will be slower. The arson of fire service reaction times will be slower. The ambulance services reaction time will be slower. So that's when you would see this sudden increase in crime. All you have to do is give a temporal marker, guys. Take out all the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, the North Koreans. If they've invested all this manpower already in the United Kingdom and they're just sat in hotels waiting for this temporal marker, and again, I'm not saying that is going to be the temporal marker. I'm saying it's a likely temporal marker. The police are training for it. So that could say to me that there's already been probing attacks. They're all there. They're sat in their hotels. You've got thousands of people who are ready. Once the GPS goes down, they know that they're going to go out and they're just going to start looting shops. That's going to cause carnage because the police are going to be stretched thin. Then you're going to have a situation where you're going to have the, emergency services targeted. Tell me, how easy would it be to run up to an ambulance and cut the tires? That's going to have effect, or that's going to have the same desired effect. If you get 500 people to do this all over the country, guys, it's going to be catastrophic. Then what you're going to do? Then you're going to have acts of violent crime increase. How are the police going to react to this, guys? All of this, can you imagine all of this at the same time? Then the water system goes down, then the electricity goes down, then the gas goes down, and it's done. That is literally a done deal. And who's to blame for that? Like, who's to blame? There's no big rockets coming over. So we can't strike back at where those rockets came from. But think about the devastation that would cause. That would cause more devastation than one of these rockets hitting, guys. It really would. Anyway, guys, I'm going to mag to grid. That's the jux of the video, guys. Just a little update on the threat state, on the alert state. I'll put that video by the MI5 chief in the description, guys. I'm going to mag to grid, and I'll get you guys another video later.